Welcome back to the Daily Squeeze. I'm Brian Farr. Today is Thursday, March the 21st. Hope everyone's having a good trading session this week. It's been a pretty good one overall for us here at Stock Dads. Hopefully it's doing the same for you. Well, another big all-time high for the Dow and the small caps leading the way. The Dow added about 0.7%, bringing it close to the 40,000 mark. The Nasdaq also rose a little bit, but tech was having some woes, especially when it came to Apple. Treasury yields, a little bit changed there. We did get some economic data with home sales. We did see a rise in current home sales for the month of February was higher than the expectations. We saw gold rise to new lifetime highs as well. So yeah, a pretty interesting day. We also have the Reddit IPO RDDT. Don't know if anybody out there, I'm sure some of y'all out there got involved in that. Let me know how y'all are doing. But overall, a pretty interesting day, especially within the Dow. Starting off, we did have some earnings from Micron, which is a key player in the semiconductor industry, and they did report a pretty impressive earnings, and that did ignite a little bit of a surge across the entire chip sector. The boost was definitely driven by a rising demand for generative artificial intelligence, and that led to a rise in quarterly profit. So a good jump there on Micron. In other big news today, Apple getting hit with the U.S. Department of Justice filing a significant antitrust lawsuit against Apple, claiming that the tech giant has unfairly dominated the smartphone market. So this is a pretty big legal challenge, and some of the competitors are jumping in on the bandwagon too with the Justice Department. So that should be pretty interesting, and this could have some major implications to Apple's future, potentially reshaping its market strategies and influencing how consumers engage with its technology. So this is a pretty pivotal moment for one of the biggest influential tech companies out there, and it could signal some changes in the tech landscape. So we definitely want to keep an eye on the developments for this situation going on with the Justice Department and Apple. So I'm sure Apple is going to challenge this, no doubt about that. So just keep an eye on it, and we'll let you know if there's any kind of developments. As far as the rest of the day goes, let's get into it. This is your Daily Squeeze. All right, first stepping up to the plate, we're looking at the Dow Jones ETF, the Diamonds DIA. Beautiful breakout yesterday of this 392.84, 393 level. We had this nice breakout. Continuation today on the gap up and go. Beautiful squeeze here that is firing long. We've had a very incredibly bullish trend here overall and positive thrust since about November. So all signals pointing to the upside for the Dow Jones in general. A little bit of a different story here with the SPY, even though the SPY did close positive of the day, up about 0.33%. We can see it was, kind of a sloppy session in general. We had this very small range. We had this gap up in the morning with the semiconductors, and we just kind of traded sideways overall. It was a good day for iron condors, and we didn't make any sort of progress to the upside nor to the downside. I mean, we did catch a little bit of a breakdown in the afternoon session, but other than that, it kind of called itself and held. But for the most part, it was really a sloppy day on the SPY. We started out, hit a high of 524 and just faded down for the rest of the afternoon, but we're still in a very bullish trending market here. As you can see, we're riding the 21 EMA. The 50 is pointing upwards as well. We have positive trend here on positive thrust, and everything is still looking up pretty well. The QQQ also closed positive despite the woes from Apple, and we'll take a brief look at Apple's chart in a second. But as you can see, Qs did open up at fresh all-time highs yet again, hit a high of 449, only to continue to fade on down. Did close green, up about 0.47%. But overall, you know, definitely the story of the day came from the Apple antitrust lawsuit from the Justice Department. As you can see, Apple has had this nice little recovery bounce off of this 168 level, and since then we had a little bit of mean reversion to the 21 EMA, and as you can see, we've had a pretty decent sell-off today with this big candle here, reversal back down. We can see that this was on above average volume as well. It looks like we are in fact going to come back down and retest the support at 168.68. But if we happen to break down below that key level there, then my next key support zone is going to be around this 167 to 165 mark. So it's not looking too pretty out there for Apple in general. Just doesn't, everything's pointing a little bit to the bearish side. We can see that the 21 EMA is acting as a little bit of dynamic resistance. She could never come back up to the key moving averages here. The blue line is your 50, the red line is your 200. The 200 is flattening out. Is kind of softened up a bit, but the 50 is starting to shift to the downward side. So this is something that we definitely want to pay attention to. Apple has definitely been lagging in regards to the Magnificent Seven in general. So, you know, Apple does have some woes to, you know, be concerned about here, especially from the technical standpoint. But yeah, for everything else though, Nvidia looking pretty good, still trying to break out of this 924 zone. Wasn't quite able to do it today. It looked like it was trying to ramp up with the earnings from Micron, but it could never break out of this 924, and we still want to keep this on watch. We got a little bit of a Darvis box being developed here, just a small one, nothing too crazy. But you got a decent little range here. 924 is your upper end, 841 is the lower end. So if we get this breakout above 924, I'm looking for a push towards 974, and you know, maybe that 1000 mark there. That will be a psychological battle, no doubt about that. But if we happen to see some cracks on the surface here on Nvidia, we want to see 841 act as support, even the dynamic 21 exponential moving average. If we happen to lose those two key spots, then my next spot is going to be about 750, and that will line up to this prior lifetime high area here from February, and that will also line up with the daily 50 simple moving average. We did get into some new swings today, particularly in ARM. ARM Holdings is in a squeeze, so we wanted to take advantage of that setup, and then also took a small position here on Procter & Gamble. We took the May 17th contracts, the 165 strike. Got about 60 days till expiration, 57 I do believe, but we're looking to see if we can catch a breakout on Procter & Gamble with the momentum and this bullish squeeze setting up. Our all-time high is going to be sitting up at about that 165 mark, so our overall target is going to be 165 with a stop below 160. But overall, a pretty good day in general. If we take a look at some of these day trades that we took today, let me pull up my stuff here. Today we did take the SPX call credit spread. This was a pretty easy one to manage. In general, we were pretty sideways throughout the trading session. Market internals couldn't quite gather themselves, and with overall tech weakness with Apple selling off, AMD not catching a bid, Google, all of the big tech guys just having a little bit of struggle, just weighing down on the overall SPY. It didn't seem like the SPX was going to break out in any kind of strong fashion. So we took call credit spreads, at the 52.65 and 52.70 5 wide split, and we rode those all the way down. We realized full profit on those call credit spreads. It might sound weird because it's called a call. It's called a call credit spread, but when you're taking in a credit, we are selling those spreads. So we bring in a credit, and it is a neutral bearish strategy. So we're saying that, okay, SPX isn't going to trade higher than these levels here, and as long as SPX trades below that 52.65 mark, then we will make full profit as theta decay continues to work in our favor. And that is the case that happened today. SPX continued to move downward, and it never came close to stopping us out. So the beautiful thing is about that is, as long as the market trades sideways, we can still make profit. Today would have also been a really good day for an iron condor, which I believe Max played today as well. But as far as the other trades go, we did take Nasdaq calls here first thing in the morning. We got in about this mid range here to the breakout. It looked a little bit cleaner on the 1 minute. Yeah, here's where we took the breakout of this 448.78 mark, hit the high of day. We took those cons from let's see, what did we did it from 117. We got in at $1.17, and I took profit at $1.40. We did have one stop out, and that was on Tesla. Tesla had some relative strength during the morning. I was looking for this breakout of 177.44, couldn't quite get it, and then we had the little bit of a rug pull. I got stopped out right about this 176.50 mark, and that's where I got stopped out for a little bit of a loss there, but we ended up making it back with SPY calls on the 524 calls. Took tomorrow's expiration just because I knew we were playing a little bit of the sideways movement, but in general, we took those from $1.27 all the way to $1.50 once we broke high of day. And then we took the SPX call credit spread to ride the sideways motion and to ride the wave back down. So all in all, a pretty positive day, a green day on the board for myself. If we do happen to break down tomorrow below 52.40, we do have a minor gap to fill that was created today on the downside, so we definitely want to pay attention to that. As far as everything, it's still a mixed bag of signals here. We got bullish trend on the 15 and 5. On the 1 minute, you can see here that we have more of a neutral bullish trend, but we'll see the structure of things and the way that momentum has shifted on that lower time frame could give us a nice little gap fill. So we could see that happen tomorrow for sure. But tomorrow is Friday. Let me double check the trading calendar for tomorrow, see what we got on the docket. We do have Fed Bar speaking again tomorrow, but other than that, all the major stuff this week has already occurred. We've gotten over the Powell hump there, and today we had the jobless claims, which came in better than expected also. So there was a good bit of data today that we had to pay attention to. But overall, a very positive day despite the pretty boring overall session in general. So tomorrow's a new day. Let's have a good close to the week, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, guys.